Bible Story, Volume 5. That's where we at. And we're at Part 2, Story 7, Elisha's Secret Army. Sometime after Naaman's return to Damascus, the king of Syria, for some reason we don't know, declared war on Israel again. However, something went wrong with his campaign. Every time he planned to attack or ambush, the king of Israel heard about it and was prepared for it. This happened not once nor twice, but so many times that the king of Syria was sure he had a traitor in his camp. Sending for his officers, he said to them angrily, "Will ye not show me which one of you is for the king of Israel?" "None, my lord, O king," replied one of the men. "But Elisha, the prophet that is in Israel, telleth the king of Israel the words that thou speak in thy bedchamber." Oh, so even when he's alone, Elisha told what was going on. Okay, it could have been Naaman himself who said this, or someone who he had spoken about the power of Elisha's God. Now the problem seems easy for the king. Now the problem seemed easy to the king. Get Elisha, and all the trouble would be over. So he said to his men, "Go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him." Someone said, "He is in Dothan." So the king ordered his horses and chariots and a great host to go to Dothan to fetch this man who knew too much. Thinking to take Elisha by surprise, the army arrived by night and completely surrounded the city. There seemed no way to escape for a man of God. Early the next morning, when Elisha's servant looked out from the city wall and saw all the horses and chariots, he was frightened. This is a different, let me get, this was a different um, servant. Running to Elisha, he cried, "Alas, my master, how shall we do? How shall we do?" Yeah. But Elisha wasn't troubled at least. He trusted God was so great that nothing ever bothered him. "Fear not," he said to the frightened young man, "for they that be with us are more than that be with them." The young men stared at him. "How can this be? There is nobody in Dothan ready to fight these Syrians. Sorry, these Syrians. Had Elisha got a secret army? He had, and now he prayed, saying, "Lord, I pray thee, open his eyes, that he may see." God answered the prayer. A moment later, the young man saw what Elisha had been looking at all the time. "Look," he cried, "look at them all." And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire around about Elisha. And when they came down to him, those chariots of fire he had seen once before, he knew God was very near, and he said, "Smite these people, I pray thee, with blindness." It was the strangest request but he had a wonderful plan in mind. Yeah, he wasn't going to hurt him. Now he walked out of the city gate and bravely approached the leaders of the Syrian army, who were milling about in their blindness, not knowing where they were or what to do. "This is not the way," he said to them, "neither is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom ye seek." But he led them to Samaria. So there's the Samaria. Right to Israel's capital. When he had them all safety inside the city gates, he prayed, "Lord, open the eyes of these men, that they may see." And we got two illustrations. The first one at the top is him opening his servant's eyes to see the big army. And then at the bottom is Elisha bringing them into the city. There's the large army up here with the chariots of fire. And Elisha bringing the blind army into the city of Samaria. Okay. And then it says, God did so, and the soldiers saw with sudden fear that they were in the midst of Samaria. The king of Israel was delighted. Here was a splendid chance to teach the Syrians a lesson they would never forget. "Shall I smite them? Shall I smite them?" he said to Elisha with relish. "No, indeed," said Elisha. Instead, he ordered that food and water be given the prisoners, and that they be set free to go back to their homes. And he prepared great provisions for them, and when they had eaten and drunk, that's what it says, he sent them away, and they went to their masters. What gracious, yeah, what gracious, kindly needed that was. Gracious. What a gracious, kindly deed that was. It was loving one's enemy in a very unusual way, and it worked for a while at least. We read that the bands of Syria came no more into the land of Israel. It pays to have the protection of Elisha's secret army. You and I may have it too. The Bible says, "The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him, and delivereth them." And then, of course, as the illustration of them being fed down at the bottom. There's the army being fed. Army of Syrians in Samaria. See, the words get really confusing, especially when they're similar. Okay, that was part 2, story 7. And of course, it's break time. So I'm going to take a break and get everything ready for our next story. And we got a long way to go before we're through in this book. And then we've got 5 more books to go through. But I'll see you in a bit. Okay?